Good noon. Welcome everyone to be with Inga, one of our dear members of this Cultural Arts Center. Don't we love her? Yeah. Oh yeah! Woo-hoo! And such a soul-filled presence to this city. The photography, the images are wonderful of this city. And I take them to people outside the city. I'm going to be with people in Connecticut and show them what a beautiful city. And Inga knows that not only from the point of view of photography, but its personality. Do you notice that about Columbus? Mm-hmm. There's a personality that is magnificent, and you capture it. Don't you agree? Yes. Aha, another round of applause. Yes. And I'm going to be with the mayor Saturday, and I'm going to be sure that Mayor Ginther receives this beautiful image. And I want to say to him, do you know Inga? He'll say, of course I do. I know Inga.
Well, that's news to me.
Well, Inga, I know you said I have so much to say. What would be the one thing that you would say about yourself right now? I know you're going to talk about your work. I know you were an English teacher, and we just talked about Thomas Harding this morning, and Woody Allen, and just the resources that you have in your conversation, in your life, and in your art. What would be one thing?
One thing? I guess the one thing is I'm grateful every day that I can get up and do what I want to do.
And you know, I don't know if you know that Inga is a wonderful international artist, because you take it all in. And my husband and I sat at her feet wondering, where do we go in Venice if we have a couple of days? Venice, she says, it's one of my favorite. I said, oh, well, tell me, yeah. And so we stayed at this wonderful Hotel Abbazia, which had been a Carmelite monastery, and at the recommendation of Inga, who knew every step of the way, and that's how we so enjoyed Venice, no less.
You need a tour guide?
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, take it away now.
All right, I gotta get up. One of the things that I'm asked so many times is, how did you get interested in photography? And there is really not a very simple answer to that, so I'm going to tell you. That's kind of a long story, but I will take you back to the beginning. So can we have the lights, please? I think, is it better over here? If I'm not in anybody's way? Yeah. Okay, next, please. I want you to look at this picture. This is my father in 1915 in the German army going off to war. Now study that picture and tell me what you notice that doesn't fit in the picture.
The birds.
No, keep looking. Camera. He's taking a camera to war. And I thought, that struck me so odd. I've looked at that picture. But my father was an influence on me in that, because he took a lot of pictures and he was good. And so I thought it was interesting that he would think to take a camera. And he has some flowers in his hat too, which I thought was pretty remarkable. Okay, can I have the next one, Scott? Todd? Oh, next, yeah, we've got to go forward 25 years now. Okay, next, please. And in 25 years after that, in December of 1939, my family, which consisted of my brother, who was 2.5 years older, my parents and I, left Germany at the beginning of the war. And we left on Christmas Eve as though we were going to visit friends, and kept going out of the country into Holland. And you could stay in Holland 3 days, and you had to get out, otherwise they sent you back. So that was not an option, obviously. So we crossed the Atlantic in December 26th through January 28th. That's how long it took to come from Rotterdam, Holland, to New York. And that was our first sight of New York, and that's the skyline in 1939, 1940. Next picture. That's the boat we came on. Can you imagine spending 30 days crossing the Atlantic in that boat? There were 16 people down in the bottom, and it was originally on a canary freighter. I don't know why they were shipping canaries, but that's what it originally was. So that was what we crossed the Atlantic in. And it took so long because we had to go sideways, this way and that way, to avoid the bombs under the water and storms and one thing or the other. So that was that, and then there's one more picture in this sequence. That's me on the boat. And once again, my father remembered to take a camera. We're fleeing with the clothes on our backs, but he remembered the camera. So it's been a really significant part of my life that have that. Now, after that point there, I remember growing up as a child, I was saying to my mother so many times, I wish I knew what I had looked like when I was a baby or when I was little. Of course, everything we left behind was originally intended to be shipped to us because my aunt and uncle, my only relatives who were there, were going to ship that all to us after the war, but then show the next picture. And that's my town that we left. And that's the end of our street, and that was bombed by the Americans. And there's one more picture of that. And these are pictures that were sent, my aunt and uncle sent after the war, and the whole town was pretty well decimated. It's Augsburg, Germany. It's 32 kilometers northwest, I think, of Munich, so it's in Bavaria. And it's all totally rebuilt now. You wouldn't believe that anything had happened there. To go now and see, it looks just like it did before, exactly. But I'm so grateful to have these pictures, and that's why pictures are so important to me. And I remember telling my children when they were little, if we ever have a fire, grab the photo albums. And I was dead serious about that. You know, don't worry about anything else but grab the photo albums. Okay, so that's my connection to photography, and I think it's a significant one in that it's not a casual interest I have. It's not something I picked up along the way, oh, I think I'll do this. That's always been a very serious part of my life. Okay, 3 years later, that's how I looked when I got my first camera. I was 10, and my father bought me a little brownie camera. And so from there on in, I was my own photographer. I have to tell you a quick little story about those braids, which I absolutely despised. And I kept begging to have the haircut. And my mother would say, well, I'd say, what do you want for your birthday? I'd say, haircut. And then she would be just on the edge of saying yes. And then some person would say to her, oh, you're not going to cut that beautiful hair. And then she'd change her mind. So when I got to be about 12, and I thought I'm way too old to have braids, I started snipping little pieces off in the bathroom. Thinking, of course, nobody would notice, you know, that they were like up to here at some point. So finally she gave up and away went the braids. Okay, next. Now, next one, please. This is my very first sale. And this was in 1984, and believe this or not, it was an exhibit I had here in the Loft Gallery. And this picture was in the exhibit, and some doctor from some medical organization contacted me and wanted to buy that picture to put on his magazine cover. And so that was my first sale and my first publication all in one fell swoop, 1984. I had totally forgotten the year of it till I resurrected this. And so I have the Cultural Arts Center to thank for my very first publication and my very first sale. Okay, and the next one, and then this was another big sale I had, and this was a centerfold in the AAA magazine. And it was the first prize in a contest of places, people traveling. This was taken in Annecy, France, at the lake in Annecy, and it was nice to have a 2-page spread from that. And one time I took a picture of the Orton Hall down in the university, and a textbook publishing company bought it to put in their first grade science book and paid me pretty good money, but I had to go through all kinds of loops to get permission from OSU for them to use it, because I didn't want them to see the book somewhere down the road and say, oh, wait a minute, where'd that picture come from? So that was the beginning of my selling career. Now I have friends that kept saying to me, you've got to do something with these pictures. I'm taking these pictures and showing them to them, and they kept saying, you've got to do something with these pictures. So I started thinking, what could I do? So I'm very active in the Clintonville Arts Guild, and we have a holiday sale every year. It's 34 years. I started it in my house. I went to a meeting one time, and people were sitting around, and they weren't doing anything much, and I said, we need to have a sale. You know where that takes you, right? And I said, oh, yes, I'll have it. We stripped my house. For 8 years, I had it in my house. Brought all the artwork in over the couches, the walls, and everything like that. And then now it's huge. It's at the Clintonville. It's at the Whetstone Community Center now, and this is our 35th year, I think, of it. So if you're free next second weekend in November every year. Last year, we took in $39,000 some dollars in 3 days. It's an art sale. It's not arts and crafts. It's art, so I'll remind you all later on. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you that is because that spurred me on to do something. And I was entering prints and having, people go through prints, and there were other people who had prints, and there were prints and prints. And so I thought, I've got to distinguish myself a little bit, so what will I do differently? So I started making cards, note cards. I was the only person back then who was making note cards. Now, everybody makes note cards. People would call me up and say, where do you get your paper? What do you do with the paper? Yeah, so now everybody's making note cards. So that lasted a little while. So I'll pass some of these around while I'm talking so you can just see what they look like. And then, then I had to think of something else to do, because the note cards were now no hot ticket anymore. So I thought, well, I'll make magnets. So I did quite a bit of exploring to make magnets that I could do something with my pictures. See, all of this was, I have so many pictures, how do I get them out there? At the moment, I was just telling Sophie here that I have 26,460 some pictures on my computer as we speak. And I can find any one of them in 30 seconds. If you ask me, do you have such and such, such a... I know exactly where they are, categorized, subcategorized, and all that. So then I started making magnets. And now I have become so tired of making magnets. I said, it's going to say on my tombstone, she died making magnets. Because I have things in like 5 different stores. The Celebrate Local out Easton Town Center is huge magnet market. Don't know why, but I sell tons of magnets out there, and I was making more magnets. I can't keep up. I sell them at the Global Gallery in Clintonville, at the Golden Hobby Shop in Germ Village, downstairs here in the shop, and I sell a lot at the State House, the museum shop in the State House. But they all have different requirements. The State House wants State House in Columbus. Golden Hobby Shop wants German Village. Downtown at the Easton Town Center, they want other things. There's a shop now, they've extended out to Cincinnati, so now I have to do Cincinnati. And the Global Gallery wants Clintonville pictures, so it's not like I can get a mess of something and pass them out. I'm going to get a mess of this one, a mess of that one. So that's that. Now people are doing magnets. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do next. So then I decided, since I had all these pictures, especially of Clintonville, I'm the unofficial Clintonville photographer. And somebody said to me the other day, why aren't you the official one? I said, because there isn't one. And they said, well, why? What's your title? I said, I just told you, it's the unofficial one. It's just that. So what I did, this whole book is full of pictures of Clintonville. It's sort of like my catalog. So I started making coffee table books. And if people want one, they come either to my computer or through this book, and they look through all the pictures I have, and then they customize each one. So I went back to a friend's house the other day and picked up one I had made for them. And they can choose the color they want, and then whether they want a picture on front. And I'll go take 6 pictures of their choosing, included. So this person, they wanted a picture of their house and their garden, and they had some pretty arrangements and some the schools that they went to, North High School and a couple other schools. So I went and took the 6 picture they wanted, and then I filled it out with pictures from the diary there. And so that's another thing I do, and I just do those on an individual basis. So that nobody's copied that yet, so I've got that market for the moment anyway. Then I got to the next thing. I said, okay, well now what's commercial, what's marketable? And I said, aha, calendars. So I started making calendars. And now my calendar market is quite expansive. I do 2 versions, and I had Ellen bring this one back because I give her one every Christmas. And so this is from 2016, and this one is this past coming year. Sell a lot of these, and I sell a ton of the Clintonville ones. And I make 2 sizes, the wall size and the desktop size. So far...
We want to, Inga, do you want to pass those
yes,
around
I'm going
here?
to, yeah. Let's take one over here. And every year I have to keep track so I don't duplicate pictures from one year to the next. So it's, I keep one myself from each year, so I have it for a record. Then, let's see, after that I had to think of something else, because you have to keep reinventing yourself, you know, if you want to get into the market and keep alive and stop taking pictures, just put them in your computer somewhere. And I hate doing that. I don't leave them in the computer. I make books for myself. So then I thought, I'll make books of my favorite subjects. So I started making different books, which I sell at the holiday sale. This is flowers. I'll pass these around if you want. Because if you don't look at it, this is people around the world. And this one I like really well. It's the inner thoughts of cats and dogs. And I'll show you just a couple of these. These are my pet pictures. This one says, you rang. Room for one more. It says, I'm innocent. Don't let my eyes fool you. Read upside down. This one says, I'm in charge here. Who, me? So just funny things like this. That's my goal. No, it's mine. Every cat is sitting at the same goal. So it's just kind of fun to do stuff like that. So it goes around. So that's the next. Then I had to think, what else could I do? Postcards. People would ask me if I had postcards. So I started looking around for postcards, and I came up with some general kinds of scenes. This is the downtown here, and I have a postcard of this for each of you. So I'll pass them around. You can all take one. This is the old Tangi River down at North Broadway Bridge. The State House. The old Tangi, one day it looked blue like that. In the 49 years I've lived in my house, it looked blue that day. And I stopped, it was funny, I was coming from Riverside Hospital direction across, and I live in Clintonville, right across. When the trees are bare, I can sort of see the hospital across the river. And I had the camera with me always anyway. And here was this blue river, and I pulled onto the traffic into my first driveway I came to. I don't know whose house it was on the south side of North Broadway. Left the motor running, it was all slush and snow, ran across the street in the traffic and shot these pictures, because I knew if I went home to get the camera just a block away, it'd be gone by the time I came back. So I got about 20 good shots off that day. That's a. And then this is in the winter scene in Whetstone, in Park of Roses, with the snow trees bent under. So, and you can pass those around here. And this, if you want to look at all this stuff. Okay, then when you think you have thought of everything, you haven't, come up with something else. So the next thing I decided I could put my pictures onto little notebooks. And that's what these are. So I bought these little notebooks at Staples, and I attach my picture to it. They have a really nice pen attached to the side, and they make great gifts. And this is the hot seller at the Clinton Marksville holiday sale. Speaking of that, before I don't forget, I want to introduce you to Abby Vale. She just ran for Columbus School Board as a progressive to bring in new thoughts and ideas. And she's already counting the days to the next election. She's going to run again. She saw a need and stepped up, and I think that's just fabulous. Anyway, didn't want to forget that, Abby. Yeah.
Thank you, Inga.
So this is the tower out here at the Cultural Arts Center. But I'm very eclectic, as you probably noticed. You know, I have general subjects, flowers, birds, trees. And yet the funny thing is, somebody asked me a while back, maybe it was you, Todd, even, what my subject was. And I said, I don't have one, but I used to never shoot pictures of people. And I never did for the longest time. And I didn't realize I had started doing it. And all of a sudden I thought, man, I've got a lot of pictures of people. And now I like doing it. It seems I'm doing more of that, something else that was sort of I evolved into without realizing, without a conscious decision. So you can look at these and just to get an idea of what you can do. You can all do what I'm doing if you feel so inclined. And then one of the other things people always ask me about is my camera. What kind of camera do you use? And I know they have visions of me having this bag that require an elephant to carry, and I don't. I used to carry all those lenses with me, and one thing, there's my son. Stand up, Eric. Didn't know he was coming. Thank you. That works right here. He works down here for the government. Taxes. He does your taxes. He does the corporate taxes, though. You can come back. But this is the only camera I have. This is it. And all the pictures you're looking at, a vast majority of them were taken with this camera. It's a Panasonic Lumix, but the kicker is it has a Leica lens in it, which is the whole thing. And it has a 20x digital zoom. So I could shoot this camera back there and take a picture of Diane's eyeball.
Wow.
And it would be clear. So it looks like just a little cheap little point and shoot, but it's not. It's quite heavy, and it has manual and all the other stuff. And that's all I take with me wherever I go. I do have a backup, which is I have a Samsung backup, just in case, because you never want to be without a backup if you're traveling. But that's my camera. And just want to show you what that camera does on a close-up. You would not think that it would do, but just this shot with that camera. And on this one, on these poppies, you can see the hairs on the blossoms. So that's the quality of this camera. And now it has a feature, I don't have it, but it has a feature now where you can send pictures directly from the camera via email. It's the next model, of course. You know, from the one I got, it's always the next model. But I don't really care if I do that or not. Anyway, so that, I want to mention that because David, who's not here today, wanted to really hear about the camera, but so that's why I brought it. Okay, then let's see, what did I do next? Oh yes, I decided I would do mugs. This is a little hard thing to lug around, but this is the Cultural Arts Center. On a mug, as the pictures, I take them, set them up the way I want, and then have them done. And this is the North Market, before they destroy it. and then just along the bike path down on the old TNG. So I have a lot of different subjects, but these are 2 years ago, my iteration of 2 years ago. And the newest one that I have this year is coasters. And it took me 3 years to figure out how to do these. And they're town coasters. This is the Columbus. I'll just send one around so you can see what they look like. But there's flowers and scenes. This is the Park of Roses. And what's discovered now, when I was at the holiday sale this year in Clintonville, people would come up and say, could you make me a picture? Can you make me some of these? If I send you some pictures? And I said, sure. So I got people's dog pictures. I have engagement pictures, somebody's car. And I think the most novel one is somebody they were moving, and they had to take a picture where they had measured their child's heights in the doorway, you know, the little notches, and had taken a picture of it and wanted a tile made of that, a coaster made of that. So it's all. So now my gal where I go for a massage is getting married next week, actually. So I made her a little wedding present. I'm going to give her a set of coasters. If you can see them now, it says, Love Forever. And that's a picture of a stone, you know, the stones that say peace and love. And that you have. This was a white stone I saw somewhere in Germany, a heart-shaped stone that said Love Forever on it. So I just took that picture, never thinking it would come in handy. So this is, I'm going to take this over her to her this weekend. Coasters for her wedding. So now I'm I'm doing a lot that aren't my pictures, actually. But I don't mind if I'm doing mine. It's like a mass production kind of thing. Okay, so now before I forget, I'm going to pass these around, and please take one for yourself. And then I want to go back to, if you have any questions before I move back to